What's going on, horror fanatics? Welcome to I Shot Him 6 Times YouTube horror movie channel. As you know, I'm your host Marcus. Please be sure to shoot that like button and subscribe to the channel, as well as shoot that notification icon so you get all the latest content updates to the channel. In this video, I'm going to talk about Nicolas Cage being signed on for two horror/thriller projects, Longlegs and Sympathy for the Devil, and share my thoughts on what we should expect in these two movies. But before I get into it, let's hit that intro.
You are now watching I Shot Him 6 Times YouTube horror movie channel.
I shot him 6 times! Okay everyone, as I was on Bloody Disgusting the other night hitting the horror library for some news and some interesting articles, I stumbled across these two articles stating how Nicolas Cage will be starring in two new horror/thriller films in Longlegs and Sympathy for the Devil. So let's go over these articles and let's speculate on what's going on in these two films. The first article I will read was published by John Squires and is about the film Longlegs, and it goes on to state, Nicolas Cage will continue hanging around in the horror genre with Longlegs, described by Deadline as being in the vein of classic Hollywood psychological thrillers. Plot details are unknown at this time, but the script was written by Osgood Perkins, the Blackcoat's daughter and Gretel and Hansel director, which gives this one serious credibility. Perkins will also be directing Nicolas Cage in Longlegs. C2 Motion Picture Group is producing and financing the feature. Producers are Nicolas Cage along with his production company Saturn Films, The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, and Pig Movies. Dan Kagan, Significant Other, Brian Cavanaugh Jones, Insidious, Dave Kaplan, The End We Start From, and Chris Ferguson, Child's Play. We'll be keeping a close eye on this one. Stay tuned for more. Okay, so though there isn't too much detail yet on this film, I'm going to speculate that this may be some type of creature/supernatural based horror film, given the title of the movie. That really jumped out to me, the title Longlegs. It just sounds like one of them old school street creature type of movies. It just really does. Could I be wrong? Absolutely, but just from reading the title, it just kind of gives off that vibe to me. But as well as due to who is making this film, Osgood Perkins, as in the other three movies he has directed, in The Blackcoat's Daughter, Gretel and Hansel, and I Am the Pretty Thing That Lives in the House. Two of them, Gretel and Hansel, and I Am the Pretty Thing That Lives in the House, go towards the fantasy supernatural side of horror. So I expect Longlegs to kind of have some of the same type of supernatural element to it as well as having that deep psychological dark tone to go with it, as it does state in the article that this does fall into the vein of classic Hollywood psychological thrillers. I will keep everyone updated on this movie as more news comes out in the coming months. This next article was also published by John Squires, and it was actually published back in September, and it reads, we're always excited to hear about Nicolas Cage genre projects, and Variety reports today that Cage will star alongside Joel Kinnaman in a thriller titled Sympathy for the Devil. Yuval Adler, Bethlehem, is directing the psychological thriller with filming underway. The film follows the driver, Kinnaman, as he finds himself in a high-stakes game of cat and mouse after being forced to drive a mysterious man known as the passenger, Cage. That sets up for a white-knuckle ride, Variety adds. Luke Paradise, Lost on a Mountain in Maine, wrote the script. This is a tour de force featuring two incredible actors, says producer Alan Unger. As an acclaimed filmmaker, Yuval has assembled the perfect cast and brought in a unique and gritty vision to this film that will be sure to capture audiences. Okay, so as for Sympathy for the Devil, we get a little bit more context on what this movie is about compared to what we got for Longlegs. As it states in the article, the movie is about a driver who finds himself in a cat and mouse game after being forced to drive a mysterious man known as the passenger. This story definitely does sound like 1986's classic The Hitcher film that starred Rutger Hauer, C. Thomas Howell, and Jennifer Jason Leigh. However, What this story also resembles, even more so in my opinion, is another classic action thriller, Collateral, that stars Tom Cruise and Jamie Foxx. The reason the story trends more on the Collateral side for me is because of the fact that the driver in Sympathy for the Devil is being forced against his will to drive the character Nicolas Cage is playing, much like Jamie Foxx's character in Collateral was forced against his will to drive Tom Cruise's character wherever he wanted to go. In The Hitcher, the driver wasn't forced to drive the Hitcher. He willingly picked the Hitcher up while the Hitcher was on the side of the road. It was only after he allowed the Hitcher in his car that he was being forced to do anything. As more news comes out on both of these new films from Nicolas Cage, I will be keeping you all updated, as these are now 2 films that I have added to my must-watch list, as I am a fan of Nicolas Cage and his work, and I am interested to see his character work in these 2 films. But okay everyone, that is it for this video. Hit the comment section below and let me know if these are 2 films you would be interested in watching, as well as share your thoughts on Nicolas Cage and his work in the horror genre. Once again, this is I Shot Him 6 Times, YouTube horror movie channel. As you know, I'm your host Marcus. Please be sure to shoot that like button. It helps the channel out a lot. It helps with the YouTube algorithm. The more likes we get, the more people view this video. As well as shoot that notification bell so you get all the latest content updates to the channel. Be sure to follow me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and Patreon as well. Thank you all for watching.